So, good morning all the Interest TV viewers and listeners. Today, at the other part of the line, we have the CEO of Incap, Mr. Otto Pukk, with us. Welcome, Otto.
Thank you very much, Jonas, and I hope you're all well in your home office.
Yes, thank you, Otto. You published your Q1 result a few hours ago. In a nutshell, how the Q1 went and what were the main events and challenges?
Yeah, the main events, of course, in the beginning of Q1 was the completion of the acquisition of AWS. Otherwise, Q1, of course, have been very much dealing with the COVID situation that is in the world currently. So the main events is the acquisition, of course, the pandemic that everybody in the industry and all over the world currently are dealing with.
Yeah, you already mentioned the pandemic, and it has been the number one headline for a while now. How the COVID-19 has already impacted to your sourcing operations and your own production ability?
Yeah, I would say, of course, on material deliveries, and so we have had slight delays and some rescheduling. But foremost, the pandemic have impacted our capacity and as we are following all government and also World Health Organization advice, and so then we have had to close down, for example, the Indian factory part of Q3 when the Indian state went on lockdown. We had to reduce the capacity a little bit in UK when they had a partial lockdown there, and we only did medical and scientific instruments, but also in the other factories in Slovakia and Estonia, due to that people have been on sick leave or so that of course that have impacted foremost the capacity. So in demand, I would say that we haven't seen any decrease in general, but we have a little bit done business with one hand tied behind our back.
Okay. On an overall basis, what is the current state of your production facilities and your daily operations at the moment?
No, at the moment we are up and running in almost with full capacity in all our European sites, and we have also started to ramp up the production in India. There we know next week if the lockdown will be lifted completely, and if that is the case, which we are a little bit expecting, we are again able to ramp up to 100% very quickly. So we are now also producing in India, but still with somewhat limited capacity.
Yeah. How about the fighting spirit within your employees? Do you think this crisis has united you as a team, or what kind of impacts you have seen in that area?
No, we have a fantastic team, and I want to take the opportunity here as well to thank everybody who have done all in their power to maintain some kind of normality in the business and our commitments to our customers, and I think the fighting spirit is quite high, and everybody is keen to get on with some kind of normal business, and so. And that said, in the factories today as well, we have all safety measures and so still in place, and people are at home office like I am currently, or if they are in the factories, wearing masks and taking different kind of measures to be safe.
That's good to hear. Obviously, the level of uncertainty is at the moment extremely high, and the visibility for the second part of the year is close to zero. But if we take a bit longer term perspective, do you consider the COVID-19 to have some kind of structural impacts to EMS industry and via that to your competitive landscape?
As I said before, that currently we haven't seen any actual drop in demand from our customers. We see in the automotive segment that there's I would say more uncertainties, and that is moving a little bit more slower. But overall, we haven't. We have rather seen a trend in increase in the demand, and we have a lot of RFQs in all the units currently, and it looks like many companies looking into the production or manufacturing strategy, or continuing the trend that actually started with here before the pandemic of moving production closer to the end customers and closer to the R&D centers. So basically out from China and back to Europe and to other Asian countries. So this we see is continuing, and I think that there will create a lot of opportunities for EMS companies like Incap here moving forward, and we're very excited to take a share of that.
Yeah. Taking into account your main competitive advantages and your solid cash position, do you think these capabilities are the X factors that can provide you the edge to become out of this crisis as a relatively stronger than your main competitors?
Yeah, no, I think for sure, and I think also Q1 result a little bit reflects the strength in the model that we're operating. That even with the pandemic, even with the non-recurring items and PPAs and so from the acquisition, we are still pulling off quite high EBITDA compared to many companies in the industry, and I think that moving forward, this of course is an advantage for us that we have a very flexible operational model and a strong financial position and cash position that we can utilize now moving out of this crisis.
Yeah. How about the AWS? You started the integration work at the January. How it has proceeded?
But the integration work with AWS, of course, it's somewhat impacted by the current pandemic, also as there's travel restrictions and so in place. But overall, I would say it goes very well. Yeah, we are not able perhaps to meet the colleagues in the different units or not free to travel and meet each other. But we are using different kind of video conferencing, these tools and so on, and the projects are moving forward. We are looking into the sourcing operation and how to say production and quality and in different fields, and of course sales as well to find different kind of synergy effects and start these projects. But of course many of these are long-term things that we will continue to work with, but I would say overall it has gone very well. So we haven't had any bigger issues with that, except for, of course, we can't meet each other, and that always is a nice thing to do, to meet people face to face as well.
Yeah. Thank you, Otto, for your answers, and I wish you a smooth sailing amid quite challenging environment.
Thank you very much, Jonas, and stay safe and stay healthy.